Hi everyone, Vladimir is here with our multi-platform game development tutorial part 24. So our stats are working, they are affecting the game correctly, but what happens if you unlock low level character after you've cleaned some of the highest level stages with your more upgraded character? The difficulty simply won't be up to par for a new character, so we have to keep the current stage numbers separately for each other. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let's do exactly that. So in our game progress file, let's get rid of the current level variable because it's going to be saved only for them. It's going to have a separate level for every character, and by level I mean the game level. Let's just name it stages in this point. So stage means the game level. After you defeat an enemy, you progress to the next stage. That's how it's going to work. So stages, let's introduce a new array. It's the same integer array as levels. It's going to have the same amount of values inside of it. And first, let's just initialize it properly. Let's remove the mentions of the current level from the load and save functions. We don't need them anymore. Let's initialize our stages in our load function. We just pass the character record, characters length. Basically, it's the same length as levels. And wait a second. I think I've deleted the wrong key. So, right. What I meant is that we needed to delete, what was its name? Just a moment. So player level stays, but current level goes. Basically, save key, player level. This is the variable that we have. So just current level goes away. Right. So let's do this. We load the function. We load our levels, and the same way as we load our levels, let's load the stages. So get integer, save key, player stage plus I 0. Since we don't have the key for the stages, let's introduce it right beside our level, which indicates the character level. Let's just do the player stage, which indicates the player's stage, and name the key correctly. So the loading is done. We need to do something similar in our saving function. So we're just putting the integer save key stage plus I, and we pass the stages I. So this should do it. The loading and saving is done, but we need to modify our reset and get enemy lives functions. So in case of get enemy lives, we just return the number of the stage that we are with our currently selected character, and I think it makes sense to increase the damage of an enemy because the player's health also increases as he upgrades his character. So get enemy damage, and let's return 1 plus stages current character divided by 10. So every 10 stages the damage of the enemy increases. I think that makes sense, but this value is totally taken out of my head and it is a bit random, so don't dwell on it. If it messes up the game balance, just change it and watch carefully what happens. So right, after that, let me rework the other functions. For example, in reset we do not need current level. We don't need it. But what we do need is we need to reset the player's lives to currently maximal player's lives, and I think we also need to reset the player's lives when we pick a new character, simply because our characters can have different amount of lives. So I think we need to pass. I also think that we shouldn't reset the player's stage to 0. I think if the player dies with the character, we just reduce the amount of stages the player has been at. For example, if he died at stage 6, let's just subtract 5 stages and throw the player back to stage 1, making the game a bit easier for him. But as he progresses, so does the progress, so does the difficulty, and so on. So when player can consistently move above his current stage, significantly, the overall progress will go further. But if the player dies a lot, he will essentially be dropped down to the stage where he belongs. So let's just introduce the variable reset progress. If we need to reset the progress, we reduce the changes. We only need to reset the project when progress when the player is killed. We do not need to reset the progress when player picks the new character, but we need to reset the max HP. So let's do this. Let's subtract 5 from the stages, and if stage's current character is less than 0, then make it equal to 0. Alright, that's one point. We also reset the player life, so I think this point is okay. Now let's introduce the changes to our character selection screen. We need to reset the HP. So in both of our previous buttons and next buttons, you see our prev button code. I think we need to add our reset call, but we need to pass false when we reset the progress, because we do not want to reset the level, only HP. And let's do the same with next and previous buttons. So our next button listener, before prepare UI, call the reset function. This should do it. What we also need to change is we need to tweak the game logic a bit. Firstly, because, well, the reset function is called improperly. We need to pass through, because we need to reset. We want to reset the progress of the player if he dies. We also want to adjust the damage the player takes based on the game progress get enemy damage. So the further the player is, the more damage he takes. Let me just zoom it in. So yeah, I've modified this one and this one. After that, we also need to adjust, the current level, the one that he's been used before. I think we should just make a new function. Let's call it increase stage, and let's implement it in our game progress. I don't think it should be very complicated. Let's just set the stage of the current character, increase it by 1, and I also think the player should get gold by completing the stages. So let's just give player some gold depending on the stage he has been at, divided by 4. So every 4 stages, the gold the player receives is going to increase. I think this makes sense, just to give some sense of progress, to increase the numbers and to make the player feel that he's going somewhere. If player is good, he gets more money and can upgrade his character faster. I think this actually does it for this lesson. Let me just run the game to see that everything is okay. Running the game, and to see what's going on, if I'm getting enough damage, if everything is working correctly. Just that. Whenever you do make changes, check everything. So right, I'm just picking my player which has 2 damage. I'm starting the game. I'm getting to level 0 because we've dropped everything, right? I've defeated an enemy. Alright, the enemy damages by 1. I think that's okay for now. Yeah, I would need to cross 10 levels just to see if the damage has increased, but I can see what's happening to the gold. So pay attention to what goes on when we kill an enemy. We get 1 gold for now, but I think after one more round, we'll be getting much more gold. Well, not much more gold, one more gold. So if that will work, we'll see the results very soon. Let me get some damage, let me get some lives. See, I've killed an enemy. I got 1 gold. This one should probably give me 2 gold already. Let's see. And you see the game is getting a bit harder and a bit more intense. I like it. I think it just progressed. If we look at it, it has changed. See, we got 2 gold. So this one is definitely working. Let me try to die to an enemy. I can't stop hitting him just because I have this idea that I have to win, but okay, let me just die intentionally. Alright, I got defeated. Okay, we still don't have the restart button. We have to address this one in the next tutorial. But right, let me just check what's going on. I can start the game. And the lives are reset properly. I still have 5 lives, so I think everything is working. Alright, that concludes lesson 24. I will upload the results, I will commit the results to our Git repository and give the link below in case you want to see the code directly. Thank you and see you soon. Cheers, Vladimir is out. Bye.